game against AKA Wonder was absolutely incredible, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to give it to Thijs here. So we got each caster supporting each player. Let's see who wins this. I got my money on Thijs, you got your money on Savjz. And it starts off with Savjz queuing up this warrior, a Brawl patron warrior, we see, and Thijs getting the favourable matchup here with his handlock. So although on paper it looks like Thijs can win this, we did see, I can't remember who, was it, who won the patron handlock matchup earlier? Lothar, right?
Lothar, yeah,
Yes.
Savjz, yeah.
So we have seen handlock fall to the power of patron this tournament already. So it is very much possible. And as you said, Savjz has been on form with his play so far. So going into game number 1 here, Savjz versus Thijs.
Starting off slowly here, I really like him keeping the Brawl. It's going to be really strong in the late game. You know, you Brawl and then you set up for possibly a patron turn or a frothing turn. But often, you know, you want to have more minions on the board though for the frothing, so you get more damage out of that whirlwind. When he drops the Acolyte, I feel like Thijs has to ignore this and go for the Twilight anyway.
Yeah, Twilight, strong card here. No silences in the patron text generally, so these Twilights get to keep their health. No fear of them losing it and dropping it into a 4-1 creature. Nice 9 health there to contest any minions that
there's no execute though for Savjz here, so he may have to start off with a slam. We can unstable ghoul. I'm not sure I like that.
Do you think it's important for him to clear this minion straight away?
Not that important, but he might as well check out what he gets from the slam. You know, if he gets an execute, it'll be excellent. But if not, then it's just a cycle anyway.
He's got a shield block in hand as well, so some patron warrior players like having the shield blocks, shield slams available to them. An extra form of removal, not relying solely on those executes. So it looks like he's actually going to slam his own Acolyte here.
Going aggressively for that execute. I don't mind this. You can always, of course, run the Acolyte in. Gets the Fiery Warlock, he's going to be going for that, it looks like. That might look like he's setting up for Battle Rage, but we see that he doesn't have it in his hand here. We see a tough deck Slug Belcher from Thijs. I think that's probably going to be the strongest call here. As you kind of want to go for either a Darkform Twilight Drake or a Twilight Drake tap next turn here.
Yeah, he seems like Sludge Belcher is probably the best play here. Probably going to ignore this Acolyte of Pain, not posing much of a threat. And once this Sludge Belcher comes down, it is going to protect his Twilight Drake from this Acolyte setting up an execute. So he's going to need to find something else from his hand to be able to take him out if he does pick up that execute in this next few draws. We see a War Song come to his hand here. One of the pieces of the puzzle for securing that patron turn. Forson sitting there waiting as well. So he's almost there for finding a patron turn. Even has a whirlwind as well. So things are looking decent in his hand, but this is a tough matchup as we've discussed.
I think this has to be an Emperor turn though. You know, he has got a lot of the combo pieces already. As I've talked about, I think the frothing is more of a threat to handlock than patron ever could be. You know, but I think Thijs' idea of not turning into the 1-1 is mainly based on Savjz not really needing more cards. But now we have the shield block, alright. Guess he just wants to draw into that patron before he goes for the combo, but I don't think he needs to wait with the Emperor.
And Thijs fights a Force on of his own, so both players have them sitting there waiting, and he's going to be the first one to drop it here.
Oh yeah.
Gaining some immediate value on his hand, and Savjz having the slower hand now. His Force's coming in second. Even if he decides to play it, he might do something else. I'll have to see what decisions he makes. In the range comes in the hand, another piece that can really help push a strong patron board, or even a strong Frothing Berserker play. Looks like he's just going to queue up the Forson here.
Yeah, I mean, having Thijs' minions be cheaper is also kind of good for Savjz, because more minions on board is going to be more damage from the Frothing Berserker and also more value for that possible brawl there. So I think dropping the Emperor is going to be excellent, and I think Savjz is not looking good in this game. Yeah, I think we'll see him take this one.
The thing with Savjz in the Brawl as well, he didn't actually reveal a Brawl in his set against Lothar.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think he even drew it. This was kind of a surprise for me to see in this game. So Thijs doesn't have that information available to him if he's been watching. So it might be a bit of a surprise. And if Thijs does overcommit his board too much now, he's reduced his hand so much, it's definitely going to play into Savjz's favor.
Yeah, this is getting really dangerous for Thijs. Doesn't really matter, I guess, if the Emperor gets another round off. Might as well go for the Mortal Coil to start with. And Lothar, though, is going to be massive. I would want to see him play Lothar next turn, actually.
Yeah, I like that too. If he plays low feb next turn, he can commit more to the board. But he looks like he's going to go for the low feb now, protect his Farasan from any potential executes or any kind of whirlwind executes or any inner range executes. There's a lot of things he can do to activate that execute. So he seems to be valuing reducing his hand total even more.
My idea about waiting would be more based on the idea that Savjz probably doesn't have lethal right now. 25 health and a Belcher is hard to get through. Whereas next turn, he might have lethal, I feel like, with more mana, more minions on board. So if he drops the Twilight now, I think that would have been better, but it's just my playstyle, I guess, when it comes to the handlock. Now, see how things go for Savjz. Mission Enter doesn't look bad. I think no matter what happens, though, a Death Spider can come down, threatening that lethal.
Another thing to consider here with the low feb as well, he's got a very aggressive board here, 2 5/5s, a 4/3 and a 3/1, and he's got 2 Dark Bombs and a Hellfire in hand, so he does have a lot of burst, and that's all been reduced.
Is this actually lethal? Sorry, to cut you off there. I think it is lethal, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why he played the low feb there. He wanted to set up a very aggressive next turn, which is actually going to line up lethal for him.
So this matchup kind of going as expected. Ty's playing really well. Savjz not making mistakes, but I feel like he could have maybe been slightly more aggressive with this Emperor, but it just didn't work out for him this time. So Ty's is going to take a 1-0 lead here in this third series of the day.
So unfortunately for Savjz, he didn't quite have the same fortunate kind of Robin turn that Lofar had previously against him. So Ty's going to take this first game very convincingly. I like that low feb play, even though you had kind of a different line of play, but we did actually see that it helped him set up lethal for the next turn, protecting him from executes and ever such nonsense that patrons can cook up. So Ty's 1-0 ahead. Maybe how do you feel going into the next few games? Is Ty's ahead now, beating that patron?
I think it's important now. The Hunter becomes quite weak for Savjz, I feel. He'll either have to win a mirror or an unfavorite matchup against the Warrior. Although we've seen, the Warriors lose to a Hunter. But overall, it's going to be close, I think, still. The Handlock is always going to be strong against the Patron. But now, essentially, Ty's just doesn't need to win the Patron or the Handlock mirror. He's just skipped that one, so he's one step ahead, I feel, in taking this one. But he's by no means way ahead.
Do you feel that Ty's will maybe queue in his Warrior here and leave the Hunter for last? And if Savjz reads that, he can queue in his handlock and tie it up 1-1. What kind of mind games do you think are going through their picks here? Would you expect a patron pick from Ty's here, or would you expect a Hunter?
I think the Hunter is quite weak from Savjz, so I think I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind Ty's going for Hunter himself. Possibly just, go for the Warrior. I don't know, I kind of like the Hunter more from Ty's though, and as Savjz, I mean, there's no reason, I guess, not to go for the Warrior here. There's no bad matchup there, so why not just get more info?
Yeah, that seems good to me. So they're taking some time to pick their decks. This is the last game for both of them. One of them goes home with nothing. The other goes to Gamescom. So a lot on the line here. Also that opportunity to play in China if they win at Gamescom too. So there's prize money. There's traveling around the world as well. There's a lot on the line here for these players. And it looks like Savjz actually does go into the Hunter, and Ty's also queues in this Hunter too. So we've got a Hunter mirror. And by the looks of Ty's hand, we see a Stranglethorn Tiger. So this potentially could be a slower Hunter. Maybe not. So Savjz kind of could have the edge here with a faster hybrid Hunter.
Yeah, I believe Savjz has the upper hand here, just because of the one drop and the Glaive Suka. Those cards are going to be massive. The Owl as well can trade both into the Juggler, the Haunter Creeper, and the Mad Scientist without losing any value. Ty's throwing away the Juggler is interesting, but he gets an excellent hand as well. No one drop for Ty's though, so yeah. The Arcane Golem doesn't do much for Ty's, for Savjz right now. See the Worgen come down?
So he goes for 2 1-drops here, putting on the pressure really early. This is a very good play for the Hunters. It's going to be a race, more than certainly, for these two players. And he's going to get a nice aggressive start. And forces out a Glaive Zuka here without having to get a minion to buff as well. So that plays very much in the Savjz's favour.
Could we see a second Glaive Zuka? Oh yes, so Savjz is putting on the question as well.
Taking Ty is already down to 21 health on turn 2. Massive amounts of aggression from Savjz, looking really good for him.
It seems like 18 might even be a likely scenario here, but Amisha coming out is probably the best minion you could have gotten in this situation here.
Yeah, 18 health. We do see an owl in the hand though. He has a way to deal with it. What would you do here? Do you want an owl just yet? Or do you want maybe to play the Haunted Creeper?
I like the Haunted Creeper here, yeah. I don't see hero powers being a viable option. You need to get through that eventually. An owl is just a bit too weak for my liking here. But I mean, a Sweater into Tiger into Savannah. I feel like if Savjz doesn't draw more burst, he's just going to lose his game long term.
Tyz has a really strong curve coming out. We were discussing how Strangleform Tiger into high main's a very kind of powerful curve, very high attack minions, very deadly minions as well. High main being a very sticky one, spawn those hyenas, but Strangleform Tiger not being able to be dealt with straight away, hidden away with a stealth mechanic, and being activated for all sorts of things like Houndmaster and Kill Command. So Savjz, like you said, is going to have to find some more damage. Looks like he might throw the Arcane Golem into the Misha here, bumping up Tyz's curve here, giving him an extra mana. So he does actually have the option of the Tiger going into the next turn.
It conserves his life total as well. It's not going to be as important for the face hunters, but now Tiger could come down. I don't see another option here. What can Savjz do? He has to maybe just keep with the pressure, go for the haunted hero power, and hope to draw into a kill command or a bow here.
Yeah, he needs to draw more burst to play into his game plan here, which is beat him as fast as possible. Whereas Tyz here is just going to build some powerhouse minions and start hitting him really hard over 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, he has to go face here. I can't see any other scenario.
Yep, this is going to be it. Just drop those big minions, start hitting, and just the more minions he drops, the more damage he's going to deal. Whereas Savjz has had kind of the nice early game, kind of chipping away at him piece by piece, but now he's starting to slow down a little bit, not find the cards he needs to continue that aggression.
Oh yeah. Now a Lothar pickup is not bad, but it's not fast enough though, I feel, for Tyz. For Savjz here. But look at a turn 6 from Tyz here. He's going to have 7 mana because the Arcane Golem. I feel like Unleash the Hounds might be a good scenario. He's going to put on a lot of pressure as well. Maybe just Eagle Horn Bow and face and just to ignore it, but he'll have to kill the Lothar if it comes down.
You know, he's got Eagle Horn Bow, Hounds and Hero Power, so that's a lot of burst there. It's an option of getting a Scientist down as well, maybe get a Trap out, recharge that Eagle Horn Bow, but I don't think the recharge is going to be matter. This game's going to be over the next 2 to 3 turns, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like even Hero Powering over Lothar might be better. It's going to be rough. There's an option for Unleash and Hero Power, dealing, 5 damage, putting him down to 9. Still, maybe not enough.
It looks like he wants to contest this Tiger, but the Tiger's not going to hit this low feb, I don't think.
I think he has to.
Oh no, his health is too low, my apologies. So, yeah, he's going to have to contest this low feb. So it does force the Tiger to hit him, but that high main's still going to be able to just swing away at Savjz's health. And he does have some more options of burst, Eagle Horn Bow and Hero Power. It's an extra 5 damage on top of that. They could develop a Scientist as well. So a lot of different lines to play. I mean, Shredder, I don't think Shredder... I'd like to get a Hero Power in here with Tyz, and I would like to get the bow. You want to be able to beat Savjz as fast as possible.
I feel like you need pressure over Hero Powers here, actually. You know, you're gonna need at least more than 1 turn. You're not setting him lethal by going with Hero Power. So just going for the second Mad Scientist is gonna get you 2 damage next turn anyway, which would be an equivalent to the Hero Power here. So Sweater or Double Scientist are both good. Sweater a bit more passive as it does play around the Unleash the Hounds better. So I'll put him. He does play Savannah. Alright, yeah, that's not bad.
Yep, he seems to value his Tiger here.
But a kill command is massive. This is actually lethal, I believe. No, it's 10. Yeah, it's just close.
But again, Tyz, if you find to kill command himself, he might be close to lethal. So Savjz needs to consider is how close Tyz is to lethal, and can he really hold on to a kill command set with lethal next turn. You might have to kill command this Tiger, yeah, if he wants to stay alive. You know, Hunter has a lot of reach, especially with cards like Hounds and kill command. So there's a lot of things to consider when playing in this mirror, and how much reach Tyz has available to him, and is he just walking into lethal if he doesn't decide to start trading or clearing up some minions with his spells?
I think Unleash the Hounds is going to be strong. He may have to trade into a hyena or something. He's gonna need to take a risk at this point. You know, this can't go on. He's so far behind on board. He's gonna need to kill Thijs in the next few turns here. So we can abusive hero power kill command, or I think unleash abusive and hero power.
Where is this gonna go? Goes for the tire. Okay. So he's on 17 health. He's still quite healthy. Thijs doesn't find any more burst in his hand. He still has that Unleash the Hounds, but I don't think he can find lethal just yet. He's got 8, 10. Yeah, he's 2 off, so no lethal for him just yet.
I mean, he has the option to go for Unleash the Hounds, just clear the board, go to face for, with one Hyena and the Shredder, and then just drop the Freezing Trap afterwards, which wouldn't be too bad. Yeah,
the Freezing Trap will protect him from a Wolf Rider, or maybe another Arcane Golem. He does have Hounds in his hand, Savjz, so he can use that to pop the Freezing Trap. Obviously, Thijs, not aware of this, wants to protect himself as much as possible, especially at 8 health. You don't want to be gambling with your life too much here.
But overall, I think, you know, without the kill command being top decked, I think Thijs just has this.
So Savjz being dropped down here. Very low, 6 health. What can he find to bring this game back?
It's not going to be the Hunter Creeper here, so I don't know what he can actually do. I mean, other than, I guess, running 3 Hounds into the Shredder and possibly getting something like a Doomsayer. I don't see another scenario where he survives here.
So Thijs is in line to take game number 2 here. Maybe he'll try the Shredder, but the problem is it's going to eat Freezing Trap, so he's actually going to have 2 Hounds.
And then he can replay against the third
Oh,
one.
yes, that's, of course, yeah. And it's going to cost him all his mana, so it's kind of going all in on this Shredder's RNG to help save him.
I wonder if Savjz realized that this is going to be his only comeback scenario. I think he does, yeah.
Relying on some pretty shaky RNG here to bring himself back into the game. The Shredder brings a Scientist.
Oh, that's not going to cut it.
So Thijs taking game number 2, 2-0 lead against Savjz so far, and he only has 1 deck left, which is the Patron Warrior. So he's left his best deck for last, or at least the best deck in the metagame at the moment. So in a strong position to move on to Gamescom. How do you feel about Savjz's chances here?
They're pretty low after this loss here. The Hunter vs Hunter Mirror was the matchup he needed to win with the Hunter. I mean, now he's only got the Patron left, which is going to be a bit shaky overall against the... as the Hunter, you don't want to face a Patron generally with that deck that Savjz has, so I think it's very low, 80% for Thijs at this point.
That's a pretty strong number for Thijs to be going on in this tournament. Savjz's got a lot of work to do if he wants to take this back and go to Gamescom. Thijs probably feeling very confident, very comfortable right now, keeping his strongest deck for last. So we're going to have that game for you very shortly. Savjz's probably making the decisions here. Thijs only has 1 deck left, so he's probably queued that straight away. Savjz's going to have to work out what he wants to play first, what he feels he can get a win with more confidently. I imagine it's going to be the handlock.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely in the handlock. Get a win on the board, try and get some momentum back, and then try and take the series. But it's going to be a really tough battle for Savjz.
I think so, yeah. I think to notice the handler can be a bit shaky. You know, we saw him miss out on Taunt, and that cost him a game against Lothar. So, you know, may not be the best matchup to go up first. I would kind of like to see the Hunter.
Okay.
Again, you know, as it kind of plays itself almost against Patron often. You need to be really aggressive and kill the Patron before you can get rolling with the Patron combo there. So it's a bit close, but yeah, I mean, a bit of an upset though. I mean, I think most people expected Savjz to do better. He's been more consistent over the last few months.
But this is almost a repeat of yesterday with Kalento and Sho. Like, Sho played exceptionally well in his match. And then he went 3-0 against Kalento.
Yeah.
And
he got outpicked, I guess, by Kalento, yeah.
Yeah, we were really looking for Sho to show us some kind of magic there. He had such a strong performance before, and then all of a sudden, he gets 3-0 by Kalento. So this is almost looking like a repeat of one of yesterday's matches where 2 players go into this match really strong. Savjz, like you said, played exceptionally against Lothar, and then all of a sudden he's 2-0 down against Thijs, and Thijs is lined up to win the series.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another thing to look at as well, like Thijs has a better win ratio overall. He's actually played more games in recent events, so he's been working hard. But Savjz also 65% win ratio, only 3% behind Ty. So these guys are really perfectly matched for this game. So it could. We're looking at going either way, but now Ty's, you know, it's all for him now. He's going to take this home if he can get this win, and he does queue up the handlock first. And one thing I was thinking about a moment ago with picking handlock first, handlock is going to be one of his most technical decks. He's going to need a pilot going forward. So as the series goes on, if Savjz was able to pick up, say, a win with the hunter and a win with the warrior, he's going to have more pressure playing his harder decks later. Oh, yeah. So it might be some merit to playing his harder decks now. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to his last game, if it gets to that point and he has Hunter, he has an easier time with his decision making. He doesn't have to make major mechanical plays like he would with, say, Handlock, for example.
I think in general, though, Savjz has been playing for such a long time that I feel like nervous wouldn't get to him as much. I think he's pretty calm, even though he's down 0-2 at this point. But now, looking at the hands, though, they're both so solid. Hard to give a favor either way here. The matchup is obviously slightly better for the handlock, but Savjz has everything you could ever need. Has the Hellfire, has a 4-drop, a 5-drop, and a 7-drop. If he gets an Emperor, it's going to be perfect.
Ty's opening up with that Acolyte of Pain. He hasn't really got anything apart from the Slam to activate it. We might see that come down here. Not wanting to armor up just yet, if he can avoid it, just to make that Battle Rage more effective. Oh yeah. So he digs for a card here, finds a Whirlwind, and a piece to the puzzle that is Patron, and Inner Rage as well. So he's just missing a Patron really, or a Frothing Berserker. Probably a Frothing Berserker is a lot better.
I think the Emperor is the key card to draw at this point in the matchup, because you can't really OTK a Huntler without the Emperor. The card is just going to cost too much, as you need the Frothing and all of these Whirlwinds going on. But yeah, I wouldn't mind just no Mission Inventor. There's no rush for Thijs right now.
No rush except that Deathspite Whirlwind. He doesn't really have everything he needs, and he has 2 Gnomishes in his hand, so you might as well cycle them through. Oh yeah. This 8/8 is a threat, but he's more likely to find an answer to it if he cycles first.
Looking at it, he actually does top deck it. Wow. Lucky for Thijs. Maybe he goes for next turn though. I could see that being a possibility. So now he could pay another no Mission Inventor.
Yeah, the Execute probably lines up a lot better with his curve. Like you said, he could play another Inventor, then Execute. But not only that, if this Giant decides to go face, it does activate his Battle Rage, gets an extra card. But it looks like he decides to go for a more safer option here, playing the Armor Smith and playing the Execute.
I don't mind this, you know. You have been seeing the Warlocks getting very aggressive against Patron. So the health total does matter a little bit, especially if you want to use the Despite later on, so don't mind this at all.
I'm feeling a bit of deja vu here. Savjz plays a Giant, then he plays another Giant. I'm pretty sure he lined up those 2 plays. It was exactly the same for him against AKA Wonder, where he just had Giant after Giant. It's a bit of deja vu there for me. Thijs, he's got this Gnomish fish for another card. If he gets another Execute here, that'd be pretty decent, but he just finds a Patron.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Very controversial statement there, Cardi.
He played really well though, yeah, overall. So definitely impressed me in the game against in the last game of the day there. Who did he play in the last game? Show, exactly, yeah.
So Savjz kind of going with the game plan he went last time he played this matchup, trading up to the minions, not giving any damage to his face so he can draw more cards with that Battle Rage, which I really like here. He's taking his time, he doesn't feel any rush. Oh, he does something completely different to what I thought he was doing. He decides to play more aggressively. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Do you like that? Do you think he should just start trading here?
I think his idea is he isn't afraid of the Battle Rage because Thijs already has a big hand. If Thijs maybe had 6 cards in hand, I think he probably would have traded in.
Okay. So Thijs still has some more card draw here. Looks like the Despite's just going to come down here. Because he's close to a Patron turn, so he's going to want to set this up. Ready for in the next 2 turns, I imagine.
There's still going to be a problem. He has no answer really to the Mountain Giant, no Execute, and no Emperor, so I think to draw something quickly or he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
This is what the Battle Rage might be wanting to do here. Fish out another Execute. He's already seen one though, and he still has a lot of cards left in deck. 14 cards. Is like the chances of him drawing the Execute is still quite slim.
I actually would have liked him to possibly just throw the Inner Rage and draw a 3rd card out of the Battle Rage there. Had the option maybe to throw away after the battle rage, trade in first. You know, if you can execute, you could inner rage.
Dr. Boom coming down here. Savjz board looking very strong, very powerful.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of targets for a Frothing Berserker here. But the boombots do prove to be a little bit troublesome.
This is actually lethal, I think. It depends on the boombots, but it's gonna be close.
Alright, Frothing Berserker down. Can you make this happen? These boombots could go a bit south for him, killing this Frothing if he's not careful. Gonna attack first, it seems. Interesting. Going for the... Oh, okay.
He's getting 1 more damage in the Frothing here. It's a smart play. Because obviously he would only do 1 to face, but if he attacks in, he also deals the damage to the Mountain Giant.
This is the moment of truth for Thijs. Will these boombots ruin his day?
He actually missed and lost both of the Frothings and the 2-2. Ouch. That's not what he wanted to see.
Oh,
an insta-concede from Thijs. Ouch.
That was his only out that game. That was his opportunity to win, and unfortunately for him, it didn't pay off. And the boombots, a bit of RNG went out of his favour. He's not out of this series yet. He's still got another strong match for him.
Yeah, actually another 2 strong matches.
Oh yeah, 2. Sorry.
I mean, but I'm looking to see our first patron mirror of the weekend.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like patron mirrors are interesting games. They can swing either way so easily. The first person can commit to a patron board. If the other patron player can answer with his own patron board, it can almost cost him a game sometimes. So it can come down to patience, reading if your opponent has patron yet, Frothings. There's a lot of variables in that matchup to winning it. So we're going to have their next game coming up very soon. Savjz, taking a win. This is the start of maybe a comeback. He may still have a chance to go to Gamescom, but Thijs, he only needs 1 more win, and if RNG goes in favour of him in this game, that could be all he needs.
I think to note though is Savjz is actually learning a Brawl, so if it goes to the Patron Mirror, that might come into play.
That's true, yeah. Brawl, is a card that's been teched in to deal with not only handlock but also
the mirror,
other patron decks as well. Nice little tech choice from Savjz there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think he'll pick? Do you think he'll go for the Patron Mirror straight away, or do you think he'll ease in the Hunter first, try and get a win with that?
I don't think it matters at this point, actually. Yeah, I mean, they both know each other's decks. It's all decided. Savjz will have to win 2 games. It's the only way he's going to go to Gamescom. But yeah, looking at the lineups, though, we have Thijs, and we have all of these players bringing Patron, but no Patron Mirror yet. It's pretty impressive. I mean, we always had the Patron either just defeat a Hunter or lose to a Huntlock so far, but a Patron Mirror coming up, our first of the tournament so far. Yeah,
we've had a lot of matches, especially from yesterday, and no Patron Mirrors, which is really surprising since everyone's pretty much bringing it, only a select few players not. So this is going to be a very interesting game. How are these players going to play this matchup? Do they know the matchup well enough to know how to win?
I think so.
They're both very exceptional players, very high-level players, so they more than likely have the knowledge that they need and the matchup experience. So, Forest in Thijs' hand before Savjz, a big part.
Yeah, Thijs kind of has the perfect hand, though. All he needs now is going to be a Death Spite, possibly in the rage as well. So,
we see an Acolyte coming down, so Savjz does have a lot of draw options here. Slam, Battle Rage, Inner Rage for his own Acolyte, so he can draw into the tools he needs. Whereas Thijs is already sitting on a lot of them already.
Yeah, Thijs can't actually do anything here, yeah. But still, I mean, having the cards in hand I think is stronger than having the draw to draw them, as you may just draw into something different. He's actually going to slam this Acolyte of Desperation. I don't mind this. He figures, okay, the Acolyte is going to get 2 draw anyway, so I might as well get 1 draw out of it myself. Picks up an Acolyte, and we're going to see the second Acolyte probably coming down here.
Acolyte number 2 coming down to the field. He can Inner Rage if he wants to draw more cards. But he might hold on to that. Maybe if this other Acolyte survives this turn, he can Inner Rage, Battle Rage.
I think he probably doesn't want to overextend. He wants to have an option to Battle Rage next turn. If he has 9 cards, he can't really go for that. But this is getting really tough.
Finds himself an Execute. Not going to be very helpful just yet. Again, Thijs having a very passive turn. He had to slam an Acolyte last turn.
He made the need actually to go for a second Acolyte himself. He doesn't have the Death Spite, he gets at least to draw it pretty soon to have a chance at really dominating the board. But I think thing to note for Savjz is the the coin is actually pretty important in this matchup. So losing out the coin to get the Acolyte out turn early might actually cost him in the long run.
So going forward here, he could use Inner Rage on his Acolyte and trade into that Acolyte, only denying like multiple draws. But he could have played the Throbbing too and started building up a powerful Throbbing Berserker, but he opted not to do that, fishing for a draw first. It's like he's going to play the Fiery War Axe instead. He can opt to go for another draw here by trading, or he can just run the War Axe into it. And the War Axe is better actually, because he actually does damage to himself, and then he can Battle Rage, so he draws even more cards.
It's an interesting scenario. You have one player with endless draw and endless things to play, but then you also have Thijs with the perfect hand, so it's interesting to see how a low draw hand versus a high draw hand, but the low draw hand has all the cards already. How those two hands end up lining up. But yeah, I mean,
no Deathbite.
I think the note is if Thijs goes for a Whirlwind, we'll see some overdrawing happening from Savjz.
It seems he just goes for the Gnomish Inventor. He might drop the Whirlwind here, but it does line up with Hearthstone really nicely for when he wants to do his own patron turn. So turn 6 is going to be the big turn for Thijs, whereas Savjz, he's still fishing for stuff he needs.
Oh yeah, but he's going to get something sooner or later with all this draw.
And Execute comes down, denying a couple more draws for Savjz here. And he finds the Deathbite, okay. But we see a Harrison in Thijs' hand, so he does have a response to it.
Yeah, generally, you'd never want to Harvison Fiery War Axe as a patron, but you would definitely Harvison the Deathbite, unless you had a stronger turn than that, which would maybe be the Thorson at this point.
I mean, Deathbite is a key card in setting up these patron turns, and being able to deny the control of the Death Rattle for the warrior player is usually a big deal. That's why Harrison's kind of crept into these decks, not just warrior decks, but in druids, and we even saw an Ooze in Lofar's Hunter earlier, so we've seen that how powerful Deathbite and how much influence it has on the patron's game.
Oh yeah. But now, I mean, Thijs must be smiling. I think Harrison is an easy choice here. Kills the Acolyte of Pain as well.
Yeah, clears the board and clears the weapon. Nice little swing there for Thijs in his favour, and he still has a Forest under. And look at his hand now. He's got the Deathbite, he's got the Throbbing. He's just got everything he needs, so the Forest on next turn is going to be exceptionally good for him.
Oh yeah, and especially since he has the Frothing now, it's a good counter to a patron board, because you can basically just OTK if you have enough Whirlwinds. And we see from Thijs' hand, he actually has a possibility of having 3 Whirlwinds through the Unstable Ghoul and the Deathbite.
Yes. This is where the fun starts, I guess.
Oh yeah.
From these turns onwards, we're going to see some cool board interactions and some decision making from the players on how they want to win this game. Who do you think is going to drop the first patron? Do you think it's Thijs? Is Thijs going to line it up?
I think it might be Savjz actually. It's going to be close. Thijs is going to make a big turn on turn 8, I think, no matter what. But what's Savjz going to do next turn? I can't see him just passing, really.
So Savjz actually 1 mana away from setting up a patron turn.
It's pretty even, I guess, except that Thijs has the Emperor and Savjz doesn't have the Emperor.
We do see double shield block in Savjz's hand, so he's got some health gain there.
But that actually only comes in the Hunter matchup, which I guess Savjz will need to beat Thijs' Hunter later on, no matter what.
Alright, so as far as Sun seems like the obvious play here, Thijs slams him down, and all these juicy cards in his hand for that patron are going to be reduced.
Oh yeah.
So things are going to start getting interesting from next turn onwards, I think. So he has ways to deal with this. He can slam Execute. He can start cycling shield blocks if he really wants to. Not going to be much interaction this turn. He hasn't got enough mana to really start anything up. And he can keep hold of that Deathbite for when he gets his own patron turn going. So this is... I'm interested to see what Thijs is going to do here.
I like Deathbite pass, actually.
So he just has another Whirlwind effect for that Throbbing?
Oh yeah. Or the patron, or whatever he wants even at this point. Battle Rage 1 kind of suggests that he's not going to go for the combo right now.
So maybe Deathbite, Armor Up, Acolyte. Maybe you want to keep that Acolyte to gain some health.
Yeah, I think you may need to keep it a bit. Just hero power instead, that should be fine.
And then hit the face and set up that Death Rattle for next turn. Oh, he actually decides to play the Armor Smith. Okay. Maybe draw away 4 damage from Savjz, having to clear up that Acolyte, or not. He may use it. Well, actually, this is strange. Playing the Acolyte now on Savjz's patron term, it just gives him 2 more patrons, right?
Oh yeah.
So do you think this is a misplay?
It's hard to tell. I mean, if he gets more patrons on the board, then obviously the Frothing Berserker is going to be stronger for Thijs. So maybe he's baiting out patrons so he can OTK Savjz next turn. Make more sense for Savjz to do that because he has the Brawl to follow up. But think about if Savjz had 1 charge of an Emperor right now, how strong his hand would be.
Yeah. So he gets a few. It looks like shield block being hovered here. Maybe he can play the waiting game.
It's really a standoff at this point. Yeah. No one wants to commit to a board because they feel like the other one is just going to kill them with Frothing Berserker. Don't blame them, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, it's quite a scary situation, especially for Savjz, because this is tournament point for Thijs. Well, so he qualifies if he wins this game, so Savjz needs to be really careful of how he goes about winning this game and how much commit. It looks like he's hovering with the War Song, though. Oh, he puts it back. Still a little bit uncertain. Does he want to commit to this board? Does he want to commit to this play?
The thing is, though, Savjz kind of has almost 2 combo setup. So if he has 2 combo setup, he might as well throw 1 out at this point.
The rope is burning down. The shield block comes out. It doesn't look like it's going to be a combo this turn. Finds himself an Armor Smith. Hero Power Pass, maybe? Or maybe drop an Armor Smith for his own?
He's going to overdraw, I think, so he has to drop something. Oh, wow, okay.
So he seems to value the Armor Smith more than he values the second War Song Commander. Okay.
I've actually heard the argument of this not being called a Patron Warrior, be called a Frothing Berserker Warrior, Because in this matchup especially, it just comes down to Frothing Berserker over anything else.
It is just a standoff. Both players stood at opposite ends, guns at the hilt, ready to draw, ready to shoot, but who's going to fire first?
It's tough to say. I mean, yeah, Thijs can't really commit. He may even know about the Brawl, possibly.
Picks up the second Armor Smith here. This is just a standoff.
I actually wouldn't mind just dropping the Acolyte and the Armor Smith, because at that point he actually starts to gain from his own minions more damage with the Frothing. It's not going to be enough, though, without a patron to get a lethal. And 32 health from Savjz as well. This may go to the late game, I feel.
They're just dancing around each other, kind of staring each other down, waiting for the person to make the first move. It's this is where the Patron Mirror becomes really interesting. I mean, a lot of the time when you see Patron, you just see the Patrons come down, they do the thing, the game is over. But when it comes to a mirror, especially with 2 players of this caliber, there's a lot of patience, a lot of planning, a lot of mind games, trying to read your opponent. But it looks like Savjz might commit the first Patron here, but he doesn't seem to be using a War Song here. But he committed a War Song last turn, which got taken out, so he only has 1 opportunity to get kind of a Frothing turn with that War Song, so...
Yeah, I felt maybe throwing away the War Song was a bit too eager. If he has a War Song, he might as well throw a Patron out, but I mean, I think Savjz realizes at this point that if he goes for a Patron combo, he will die to a Frothing, no question. And I think this is probably one of the higher level Patron mirrors I've ever seen, honestly. Both realize exactly how the matchup is supposed to be played, and neither of them wants to commit at all.
Someone's going to have to commit eventually. It's just who? Come on, guys. We're all waiting for one of you guys to commit and see the reaction and see if I can kill him, and then see the reaction from the other player if it doesn't finish him off. It's going to be like 3 turns where you have patrons come down, something comes down for the other player and he either kills him or he doesn't, and he responds to that board, and that player plays something and then kills him, and it's just going to be, at some point this match is going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
So, Savjz commit, but this is,
Is he in the danger zone here from the Frothing?
They're just getting close. I believe he actually has it. Yeah, he has it. So Thijs is going to take this game 3-1. This series, I mean, no. Yeah, well played to Thijs, honestly.
In a rage first? Yeah, I would have thought in a rage first. Okay, so here we go. From Berserker, going to be humongous. And even though I mean, only one of these patrons on Savjz board is going to die, so the next Wildering Effect is just going to make even more damage for the Frothing. Just incredible. The reach this deck has when it comes to burst damage from hand.
37. 33 damage. I mean, we get probably way more than that even at this point. How much you can estimate he's going to be doing? I think 45 is reasonable.
40, yeah, 40 damage easily. Just because these patrons keep spawning more patrons and making a bigger Frothing, it's just bonkers.
And we see now that the end turn button is going to be yellow, so we know that actually Thijs did get the lethal. But I'm interested to see how much you want to go for in that damage.
45. We'll go 40. Oh, did you say 45?
I think so.
42.
Okay, 42. So he had 32 to start with, so we gotta check out how low it's gonna end up.
Oh, did he not bother with the other Whirlwind? Oh no, he did.
Oh wow.
Oh man, this is ridiculous.
So we're looking at 31. What was it? 4 patrons, 43. Then yeah. If he gets the attack off now with this patron, he'll get 46.
39 damage. That is insane.
Unreal. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question before we just end up discussing this match. Which is more threatening? Patron in its prime now, or Miracle in its prime?
I think Miracle still.
Still
yeah.
Miracle?
Yeah.
Still Patron needs a bit of work before it gets to that kind of Miracle God status that deck reached?
I think the main thing is that when Miracle was at its highest point, we weren't playing Conquest. We were playing, Last Hero Standing. So you could win 3 times with Miracle over and over and over. And if you lost a Miracle Mirror, you often just felt like you lost the whole series. So because of the format, I'd say, but also just you felt more hopeless almost. Like the Miracle combo happened at turn 5, whereas the Frothing or I guess Patron combo happens at turn 7 or 8 or even 9. So you have more time before it just overwhelms you.
You hear it here first, guys. Miracle was the biggest threat. Patron is just a small fish in a big pond when it comes to Miracle being the bigger fish here. But, well, let's see this match. So Thijs takes the win, is going to Gamescom.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think the players played? Do you think Thijs played better, or do you think they played even, and it's just how the cards played?
I felt they played pretty even. It was a very high-level match. Yeah, I just got to say that, they brought the same lineup. So this is, I guess, the peak of Hearthstone right now.
So would you say this lineup is the best? One of the best Conquest lineups?
It depends. There are lineups that are better against this than other things. I could imagine someone bringing something like, maybe Oil Rogue could be good against this. There's certain aggro decks that could do well against this sort of lineup. But I think for an open format, you're going to have to play a lot of matches. I think this is the most consistent lineup because all of the classes have, either don't need draw in the Hunter or have very consistent draw mechanics in terms of the Acolytes and the Battle Rages or just the Life Tap, which is, I guess, the most consistent draw mechanic you can have.
All right, both players played exceptionally well today. Congratulations to Thijs. He will be going to Gamescom. Savjz fell a little bit short there. He played well, though. We should be happy with how he played. Let's take a look at the bracket just quickly to see what's happened today and what we've got coming up for you guys. So we have Life Coach and Deathlore next. That's going to be an interesting game, an up-and-coming Hearthstone